All right, so we made it down to the feed store. This is chapter 1 of making fodder. So made it down to the feed seed. This late in the year, they were all out of wheat seed. They were all out of oat seed. So all they had left was barley and rice. We opted for the barley seed. It's from what we've read, it's like the second highest protein content next to wheat. So got barley seed. We're going to get started on this Operation Fodder. Operation Fodder raising, take number 2. The bag I just showed you was from a downtown feed store. I went in. I may have neglected to tell them exactly what we were doing, and that was my bad. So for those of you who are wanting to try this, learn from my mistake. I now have 2 bags of grain, one of which I can't use for what we were planning on. The reason is that first bag, I get it home, and on that other bag, it has these little warning labels on it, except the fact they were stitched in to the bag, into the closure of the bag. So I had to unstitch the bag to open it up to get those out. As I'm reading them, it says, warning, this has been treated with a pesticide that's highly dangerous to birds and aquatic critters.
Wear gloves.
Wear gloves. Wear protective PPE, protective equipment. What is that? Personal protective equipment, PPE. So it says wear PPE, and I'm like, heck. So what we did, I made a quick call to an old friend of ours, Russell Schoonover. Russell, I don't know if you'll ever see this. He's not the technology guy, but I've known Russell Schoonover for probably 20-some years from archery. So Russell has a place called Starline Feeds. Don't bother Googling him up, because Russell just told us he's retiring after 30-some years in the business. He's retiring from the feed business, but fortunately, he had a bag of oat seed that is animal grade feed, so it has not been treated with any pesticides. So we're take number 2, Operation Fodder. We're gonna use food grade or animal grade seeds, and hopefully this works. All right, so it is day 1 of Operation Chicken Fodder. Okay, so everything that we've learned so far about chicken fodder is that it doesn't require a whole lot of anything to produce a lot of protein for your birds. As I said just a little bit ago, we had a foul up on our first attempt at the seed. We had a success, hopefully, in the second one. This is animal grade, so it's made for feed. Shouldn't have any kind of chemicals on it whatsoever. Okay, so the idea is that you ferment the seed overnight in some type of container. Once you've done that, it should sprout. Once it sprouts, we're going to go into these containers and try to grow that root mass and those little green doormats that we've been seeing on everybody else's YouTube channel. So we're going to give it a try. In doing the math, if this is 8 times the feed of what the seed that goes in, we figured this out, that what we need is 5.5 ounces of grain should equal 3 pounds of, roughly 3 pounds of root mass once it's sprouted and starts to grow over 7 days. Now then, we're gonna go with that right off the bat here until we can see some results and weigh that root mass and see what it weighs. That's what we're gonna go with. That's all we have to go on. So I'm gonna take this little bucket here. Before I do that though, I want to touch on this. The grain we were able to get is oat grain. The oat grain is not as high in protein as wheat grain, which is what we were looking for, but you get what you get this late in the year. Oat grain, or oat grass or root mass, has a protein content of 11.5, correct me if I'm wrong, 11.5. Barley has
12.5.
Barley has 12.5, and wheat has, tell me.
16. Just from what we
16 is
researched.
From the research we can gather. 11.5, 12.5, 16 on the protein content of these grains. So again, we've got one of the lower ones, but we're going to go with it. We're going to see how well it works out for us. So again, this is an experiment. We're just going to try it out. So we're going to turn this on. We're going to reset it for the little bucket being on it, which it is. Okay. And we're looking for 5. I might not have enough bucket. Oh yeah, we'll have enough bucket. There's 3. .9. Oh, where are we at there? We're getting there. Oh, we're down to the wire now. Ah! What?
Oh.
Okay. That was fun. All right, so we have 5.5 ounces, which should be enough to make 3 pounds of root mass for those birds. So what they tell us is we take this, then we take, now they're making it on a much larger scale. They're making it in 5-gallon buckets. We don't have 5-gallon buckets. They say 2 of these capfuls for a 5-gallon bucket. I'm not even going to do 1 capful. Okay, Lefty Miller, I know you're going to call me out on this, but we're taking bleach, chlorine bleach, and we're going to put it in here. The reason for this is apparently when they harvest this, there's a chance of mold spores being on the outside on these hulls of this grain. We have to kill those mold spores, otherwise the mold spores go into the feed and could conceivably kill our birds. So they say to do this. What happens is the bleach kills the mold spores. As you have them in here and you're watering them, it washes the bleach away. It's such a small amount. I don't even know if it washes away. It dilutes it to a point to where it should go completely leave the system. Mandy has something to say.
It also said that most of it will evaporate within the 24 hours of soaking the seeds.
True, I forgot about that. Yeah, they say that that it should evaporate off of this, which I don't know how because there's going to be a lid on it, but I don't know. Okay, so we're trying this. Just bear with us. We're going to do a partial capful here. This is slow going too.
Jeez, I put just a little.
Time out. How come that was so thick?
It's just bleach.
It's really thick.
That's what bleach looks like.
Shows you how much laundry I do around the urban micro farm. Okay, so that was weird. So I'm going to go over here. I don't know what this is. That's like a straw. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put this in the water. That's all right.
I think Lefty's ears were burning because he's trying to call in.
Hi, Lefty. We're shooting a new video. He just texted me and asked me if I was done. We're just going to call it farming chickens. We're editing, but okay. So I filled this thing with water up to about here. It's really foamy. I think that has to do with the bleach. Could it be?
Probably,
okay.
and
so
just the.
So it's really foamy. I'm gonna let this settle out. I'm gonna put this lid on it. I'm not gonna put it down tight. I got some micromanaging going on behind the camera, but I'm not going to put it on completely tight. I'm going to leave a little bit of air in there so the air can escape, because what's going to happen is these seeds are going to start to germinate, and when they germinate, they're going to give off gases. We don't want this blowing up because we're going to take it out and set it on the front porch. So I don't know where we're going to set it, but we're going to put it in the sun. So check in with us tomorrow, and we'll see where these are at. Tomorrow we'll transfer them out of here into the pans, and then we'll get them outside to where they can start doing their thing. So Wyoming James and the ever lovely Powder River Mandarin saying adios from the kitchen of the urban micro farm. Day 1, Operation Fodder for Chickens.